Yo, what's going on, man? Today is June the 13th, 2024. Welcome in to the ChrisBeCappinn NBA / WNBA show. Today we have three WNBA games on the board, and that's it. Just three WNBA games. NBA finals are officially over. Shout out to Luka Doncic and that terrible defense that he plays. Yeah, that's a wrap. And not gonna lie, man, I woke up this morning, I was not in the greatest mood because I told myself yesterday, I told you guys yesterday, I wasn't gonna go too heavy on the Dallas Mavericks, but I did think that they were the right side. And through the first couple minutes, I would think so. And then, Boston found a way to battle back, even without Porzingis being in. Man, third quarter was terrible, and then of course Dallas makes a late push. But yeah, man, Luka. Jumps us into the recap, and that's why I was so frustrated because I ended up going for a unit, 1.46 units to win a unit on Dallas money line, which was a loser. But WNBA, we continue to keep things tracking, man. Connecticut ended up covering late. Well, they had a 13-point lead. They let it come down to 6 with Diamond DeShields hitting a three-pointer. And then they end up, DeWanna Bonner, shout out to DeWanna Bonner, hit both her free throws, and they end up winning the game by 8. Team total goes over 80.5. And I will say this, DeWanna Bonner oldest. I feel like she kind of oldest in free throws with her shooting 0 for 5 from the three-point line. This is not a great Chicago Sky three-point defense. So I'm going to need – it was extremely frustrating. I checked in the third quarter one time, and I think Connecticut was like 3 for 12 from the three-point line. DeWanna Bonner was like 0 for 4. So they got to be able to make a few more shots. But overall, a negative day just because I went heavier on Dallas money line than I did Connecticut and Connecticut team total over. But I'm probably done betting the NBA Finals. I'm pretty sure I'm not betting game 4. And I'm going to just ride out at negative 7.5, pretty much 7.5 units for the NBA Finals. And it's still been it's been a profitable season. You guys can put the numbers together there and see that we were up about 33 units overall in the NBA in totality with the playoffs and the regular season. But we continue to crush the WNBA. So let's see if we can keep it moving in the right direction today. I want to go through a couple of the comments real quick before we get started on today's show. And we'll do just that. And I don't want to talk about Dallas, man. I know people probably in the comments want to talk about the finals. I don't want to talk about it. I'll go through a couple of them. That's it. Tag says, when Luka sits, Dallas doesn't have enough. He has to play 48 minutes and learn how to pace himself without getting too tired in order for them to have a chance to win. Kyrie's too small to do it alone. It'd be nice if Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington showed up for the party too. Remember when Tim Hardaway Jr. played basketball? Like actually played basketball, and I was just like out there. Tim Hardaway Jr. was like in runnings for like 6 man of the year. But don't get me started, man. Don't get me started. Prince says that Connecticut game came down to the wire, but they both cleared the team total in the -7.5. Thanks for the looks, Chris. I'll be bumping my tier within the next week or so. Peace out, Chris, in the community. Okay. Shout out to Prince. What up, Mark? He says good looks last night in the W. What up, Tasha? You know what, Tasha? I'm gonna be honest. I haven't even checked to see if I know. I want to say right off I just remember this. I think you said Dallas. You said Boston, 110 to 101 or something like that. I gotta check, Tasha. You might be the T-shirt winner. I'll double check, Tasha. I won't forget. Matter of fact, I'm gonna write myself a note. Because if I'm being honest, I ain't even checked, man. I was so frustrated with Luka last night, man. I didn't check. Let me write down Tasha T-shirt winner. I'll check. I'll go through the comments, and I'll send the T-shirt winner out. I'll send a T-shirt out tomorrow. What up to my guy Chad? I know he was on the right side last night as well. He likes the Mercury plus 7.5 today, and the Storm minus the 4.5. Got that line early. Let's see. What up, David? Mom is just a bet says, good morning, everyone. Chris keeps that nice streak going with being late more than 10 minutes. Nah, I'm not 10 minutes late today, though. I was like 3 minutes late today. For the day, what time shall he arrive for us today? We appreciate you every morning, Chris. What up to my guy, Justin? Percy the Rabbit says, if Luka played defense like he argued with the rest, boy, lost a few units on the series. Hats off to Boston. Agree. I won game 1, lost game 2, lost game 3. Probably not betting game 4. That's how I see it. What What else we got in here? What up, Peasy? Always in here in the morning. Shout out to Peasy. Yeah, they did let it get to 4. Chad said they let it get to 4. Yeah. It was a couple like shots that shouldn't have been made, but it's all good, man. It's all good. What up, Midnight Toker? Appreciate you for being here. What up, Lewis? Good morning to you. Meech in here as well. JW says Connecticut team total over 8.5 and minus 7.5 easy. It was definitely not easy. It was definitely not easy. I was stressed watching the game last night. It was not easy. No, nothing about that was easy, but they were winners, and it should have probably been a bigger win. But shout out to Angel Reese. I think she had 20 and 10 last night, and Cardoso played well for them as well. But I always kind of go back to the same thing. Like Chicago, just they need another guard, in my opinion. Let's see. Kyrie over 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists for JW. Mom is just the best. Says let's sit back and look at the greatest hands down. LeBron and Kyrie will forever be the greatest duo. LeBron will be arguing with the refs with a full sprint back down the court to track down a block. Luka, I don't know. Now, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. Let's get into the games we got for today, man. First one up, we got the Atlanta Dream. They will be on the road in Indiana taking on the Fever. This line actually opened. Let's see. Let me double check and see what the line opened at real quick. Do I still got this pulled up? I think I do. Give me 1 second. All right, so this line opened, or at least I saw it at 2, and it does look like it opened at 2 in favor of the Dream. Quickly, well, not quickly, but I saw DraftKings move it to 2.5 first, and then 2.5 turns into 3, 3 turns into 3.5, and now it's sitting at 3.5. Even though I will say you can get I think you can still get some 2.5s out there. I'm sorry, you still can get some 3s, maybe a 3 out there somewhere. And the total, of course, is on the rise, as I agree with. I think it should go up. Opened at 159.5, up to 163, 162 on most books, and I would agree with the movement there. I think both lines are going in the right direction. So let's jump into it. Situationally, you guys can see the numbers there. So you get a Dream team at a 1 day rest disadvantage. This is 1 day of rest for them. This Dream team has looked terrible, man. 1-3 straight up and against the spread in their last 4. We did fade them correctly against the Mystics the other day. On the season, they're 5-5 straight up, 4-6 against the number. On the road, however, this team has been completely different. The only home game that they have, the only home win that they have that was impressive, in my opinion, was the one that came against the Aces. But I mean, who are the real Aces? We trying to figure that out too. But on the road, you guys can see Dream 3-1 straight up, 3-1 against the numbers so far. Their seasonal numbers have been lackluster at best. This is the second worst offensive rated team. They still are the 6th best defensive rated team and number 8 in net rating as well. And then you look at the Indiana Fever, 2 days rest here. First game back home after a 3-game road trip. Of course, they got smoked against the Connecticut Sun 2 days ago. And before I move on to seasonal records, I want to say Christy Sykes tried to send a message to her team too. If you guys watched that Connecticut Sun game, I think it was on Monday. It was a standalone game. She benched her starters. Remember, Caitlin Clark got in foul trouble. She never ended up coming back in, after the third quarter. And it was Aaliyah Boston that was out there with a bunch of bench players. Is how Christy Sykes decided to close the game. After the game, she did criticize the team and said that it's really hard. Like she don't think that she should be having to coach effort, and she felt like there wasn't a lot of effort that was out there for the Indiana Fever. So I think you do get effort from the Fever tonight. I think you get effort from the Dream tonight too, especially after you just gave the Washington Mystics their first win of the season. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But the Fever, you guys can see, just 3-10 straight up on the season, 5-8 against the number. At home, they're 1-4. Only win they got came against the Chicago Sky. I think they won by 1 point, 2 points, something like that, a couple Saturdays ago. And they're 2-3 against the numbers so far in those 5 home games. And you can see their numbers as well. 10th offensive rated team, 12th defensive rated team, and 12th in net rating. This team is, they lose by the biggest margin on average in the WNBA. So real quick on the Atlanta Dream, I just needed to. I was trying to find everything I could because it's not a team that I want to back. Most times I don't want to back the Dream, But I was just looking, trying to find something. And Tanisha Wright, who is the head coach of the Dream, she took the blame, which I didn't think that she was going to. She actually took the blame for the way that the Dream came out against the Washington Mystics, just not being able to defend the 3-point line. The Mystics hit a bunch of threes. If anybody watched that game a couple of days ago, and that it was kind of over because of that. The Dream offensively scored in the teens in every single game. They never got to 20, even though the Mystics defense is lackluster and bottom 3 across the WNBA. And that, granted, they got Sykes back, but man, you talking about bad. If I had to play this game, I do want the Dream though. I do feel like it's a bounce back spot for the Dream. I'm just in the fade and the fever. Like, until they figure it out and show me that they figured it out, I've seen the Dream go on the road and get wins against teams that are better than the Fever, in my opinion. They just went on the road and beat Chicago 89 to 80. In my opinion, Chicago is better than Indiana. And I just still think that Indiana's going to struggle to figure it out. Yeah, I just feel like they don't have chemistry. They don't have camaraderie. They don't play defense. You can see that they're the worst rated defense. At least I can trust the Dream to be able to go out there and get a stop, especially on the road. Like I said, 3-1 straight up in their road game so far. 3-1 against the number as well. And I know it's not going to be a popular play because they just look so bad against the Mystics, but they actually won in the road games by about 5 points, 85 to 79. The only road game that they lost was against the Mercury, but they beat the Sparks, they beat the Mystics, and they beat the Sky. And I think the Fever are in that same category. So I would think bounce back for the Dream more than I would for the Fever. Let's see real quick. The Fever in their home games, they are... Oh, maybe it's okay. Fever 1-4. Like I said, 1-4 straight up, losing by average of 12 points. They did lose to the Liberty. They lost to the Sun, 2 top tier teams. They lost to the Storm, got smoked, and they lost to the Sparks. Lost that game by 6 points as well. Did beat the Sky though. So it'd be a way for me to try to play the Dream. Maybe even look towards their team total to go over. I think they bounce back offensively. This is one of the worst offensive teams. You guys can see the 11th rated offense, but you're playing against a fast-paced Fever team, and a Fever team that doesn't slow anybody down. So I think this will be, I agree with the total going up too. I think this is more of an over type game. Real quick, let me just get the pace numbers for the Fever. So the Fever they're 7th in pace, and Atlanta is 10th in pace. But I think the Dream get out and run in this one. They should be able to score against this Fever defense. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. I know I said a lot. Atlanta Dream can't be trusted, Terrence says. I mean, can you trust the Indiana Fever? You trust the Fever though, Terrence? Let me know. JW says, Griner, we ain't got to that game, so I won't read that. Why is 50-year-old Tina Charles the focus on the offense? So, Jay, if you go on YouTube and just search for Atlanta Dream, you can find their YouTube page, and you can go through and listen to the post-game interviews. And what Tanisha Wright said in the post-game was that they try to they run a free-flowing offense where whoever's open with a lot of ball movement should be able to get the ball and score. And that just, I don't know, maybe they've given up on Tanisha Wright. Like, I was thinking about that. Like, they, for whatever reason, maybe just want to tank, try to get her fired. I don't know what it is, but I know that this Dream team is so much better than they have been playing. We've only seen them play really, really well, maybe once or twice this entire season, in my opinion. But Tina Charles is good too. Like, her and Ryan Howard, like, they're not getting much from the guards. Alyssa Gray, I guess she give you something every now and then, but Haley Jones not doing anything too great. Crystal Dangerfield coming over for Dallas hasn't been great. I don't know, man. Let's see. Chad says, only one I didn't bet, but agree, Chris, can't look at Fever. Yeah, I can't look at the Fever either. JW says, a bum fight. I have to find something I like in this game. Yeah, just look towards the over. I think both teams will be able to score, in my opinion. And I would look for a Dream team total over the Fever. Just a bounce back game for the Dream offensively. They scored 59 points, and we failed to hit the over in that game the other day because of a half a point, and the Dream just couldn't. The Dream couldn't score the basketball at home against the Mystics. I think offensively they play better. Timothy saying Alyssa Smith points at 10. Yeah, I think she has a good game. Chad says I don't trust the Dream to get a stop though. One of 3 games I passed on this season. Okay. James said this is also a tough game to call. The Fever, our hometown team, but even with sides calling them out, I won't trust them to respond until I see it. I agree with that. Justin says I'll put my Dream money line in a 2-leg money line parlay. I like that look as well. Definitely some other games we're gonna touch on here. Mark says my first instincts was that it's a stay away game. I agree with that. Jamie says Dream first half team total over 41.5. If it's anything like the Chicago game, they came out running. I like this look. Couldn't talk you off. Chad says Dream team total would be the most logical play if I was to play it. Yeah, I agree with that. Inky says under. I disagree with that. What up to my guy Derek? Dream plus over free play, Bobby says. And JW says I might go with Caitlin Clark points prop. Okay. Kendrick says I want to take the over so bad, but man, these teams can go so dry on offense even without a good defense. They can at times, but we're not talking about a super high total here. We're talking about 80 to 80 or 82 to 82. I think it wouldn't scare me too much. I didn't play it though. They just stick Gray in the corner for the lockdown on most sets. She comes up to the top. That's how she's shooting those 3-pointers. But she does. I don't like the Atlanta Dream offense either. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Anthony says fade the Fever in the first quarter. They have been the worst first quarter team. I don't even have to look at the numbers. I do remember that. And Justin says he's going to move one Dream team total over 82.5 after the show. Like that look a lot. All right, let's keep pushing. Next game up, we got the Seattle Storm and the Dallas Wings. This line also open. If you wanted this one, you should have got in early. And I should have got in early because I do like the Seattle Storm in this spot. Opened at 2.5. When I saw it, it was at 6. And then now it's all the way up to 7.5, of course. 7.5 on most books. Total open 160. Total also moving up. It's 162.5. So both of these games have moved up so far. And I also agree with the movement there. I think even though the Seattle Storm have been a really good defensive team, I can't trust the Wings defensively. So looking at this game situationally, you can see that the Storm, only 1 day of rest, so major rest disadvantage for them here. They're coming off the 16-point win as an 11-point favorite against the Sparks just 2 days ago. And you see the seasonal records as well, 8-4 straight up and against the number. Outside of playing against, outside of the Seattle Storm playing against the Minnesota Lynx, where they have 3 losses so far this season, this team they've been really, really good at basketball, man. 4-3, 8-4 straight up and against the number on the road. They're 4-3 straight up, 5-2 against the number. And you can see their offensive and defensive metrics as well. 6th in offensive rating, number 2 best defense, and 4th in net rating as well. Then you look at the Dallas Wings. This team has been a shell of themselves. They are coming off of three days of rest in an overtime game where they lost against the Phoenix Mercury in a 5-game losing streak now as well. They're 3-7 straight up, 5-5 against the number, depending on where you're shopping. I saw some 4-5-1s out there as well. And then at home, they've not covered a spread, and they've only won 1 game. So 0-3-1 against the number. And then they're 1-3 straight up as well. So, that could be 0-4 against the spread at home. So for whatever reason, Dallas, when they keep games close, has been on the road. And you can see what the problem is. It's right there in the bottom. They're the 10th offensive rated team. The 10th defensive rated team. And their offense, while it is 5th, a lot of that is just because they play at such a fast pace. We know Dallas likes to get up and down the floor as fast as they possibly can. Shout out to Enrique Agumbawale just flying up the floor. So they are 4th in pace versus a Seattle team that also likes to push the pace. And this is why we like Seattle team total over just 2 nights ago against the Sparks. Seattle is number 1 in pace. So that helps with if you like the over in this game. So what else did I have in my notes? I mentioned Dallas losing 5 in a row, failing to cover their last four. They lost in overtime to Phoenix 97-90 on Sunday. This is the second straight home game, and like I said, 3 days of rest. This is the first meeting between the two teams as well. So Seattle, one of the reasons why I'm not looking to bet against them, they've won 6 of their last 7 outside of that Lynx game. Of course, I think that was on Saturday or Sunday. And they've covered 6 of their last 7. Every single game that they've won, they've covered. Outside of that, the Lynx where they didn't win or cover. And even though they're at the rest disadvantage here, I just kind of feel like this team has kind of hit their stride. When I looked into the game from an X's and O's perspective, Dallas gives up it's crazy to think too, because the biggest teams in the WNBA are the teams that give up the most points in the paint, a la the Chicago Sky yesterday, with their bigs that they have. But Dallas actually gives up the most points in the paint. You got Kalani Brown down there, you got Kiera McCowan, and they give up the most points in the paint. The problem with that is that Seattle scores the second most points in the paint. This is a team that likes to get down here. You got Neko Ogumake, you got Ezzy Magmagor, and they score in the basketball. Even Skylar Smith-Diggins like to get downhill and get into the paint as well. And Dallas can't stop that. Seattle also scores the third most second chance points, and Dallas gives up the third most second chance points. So even though Dallas got some big, ladies down there, they're not defensive rebounding the ball well, and they also are not limiting teams on the second chance points. Seattle 4-1 straight up, 5-0 on the road versus teams that aren't named the Mystics as well. So I agree with that. And the point differential is a +7. Is the spread getting a little too far out of hand now? I think so. I definitely think so. But as I mentioned, Wings just 1-3 straight up, 0-3-1 against the number, 0-4 against the number, depending on where what line you got when they're playing at home this season. They've allowed each of their opponent to go over their team total, and they're allowing an average of 88 points with only one overtime game in their 4 home games so far. So in my opinion, and you see the defensive rating is 10. I think Seattle has a lot of matchup advantages in this game. And I don't think the Dallas matches up well. And Dallas plays really, really fast, and Seattle's cool with that. So I like the Seattle Storm team total to go over. We'll talk about that number when we get to the recap, but that's what I considered in this game. I think the spread is a little is getting disrespectful out here, in my opinion. Kendrick says took the Storm -7, also looking at the first half over. Bobby says Seattle on the money line. Boy, I don't know what you're doing with that price, but okay. Jay Ari says, what line number do you all consider a blowout spot for the WNBA? -7 or better? Yeah, I think if I see a 7.5, I do expect the team. If I'm planning on betting it, I don't want the team to win by 9. I'm thinking that they're gonna win by double digits, and it's probably gonna be a blowout. So yeah, when I see 7.5, I'm thinking, all right, cool. Like I need this team. If I'm betting on the team, if I'm laying 7 with a team, I'm expecting them to win the game by double digits. And yeah, so I would agree with that. Chad says, don't consider over that a blowout. Don't consider over that a blowout, but in order to cash a -7, you pretty much need a blowout due to the fact late game free throws typically stop at 5 to 7 margin. And I agree with that. Meach reminding us that this Skylar Diggins-Smith she played for the Wings. I don't even think I knew that. Maybe she did. Jamie says back to the well. He's on that Storm team total over in the first quarter. I got to write this one down because we did cash on that the other day. I need to check out the Wings defensive metrics in the first quarter. But Storm first quarter team total over. We just cashed this. It was at plus money too at 21.5. Like it, Jamie. I'm glad you shouted this out, bro. Over 21.5 in the first quarter for the Storm. Wrote that one down. And Chad says hope value on the team gets even lower before Satu comes back. For the new ones, she's a problem. Yeah, her and Natasha Howard. I'm interested to see when she comes back, when both of those young ladies come back. And I didn't mention the injury report for this game, but I don't think it was anything significant, which is why I didn't. Let me just double check it real quick. So Jayla Brown is out, and then it's just Natasha Howard and Satu Sabli is what I see. And Jayla Brown, she did miss that last game as well with an illness. She could potentially come back. It's been 3 days, and it was just an illness. She may end up playing. for the Dallas Wings tonight. And then on the Atlanta game, Jordan Canada remains out. Timmy Bagley remains out. So nothing there. Let's see. Ezzy over 12.5. John likes. Ezzy been hooping. I watched her get buckets the other day. Watcher says this line just like yesterday game with the Sky. Tasha says she took Seattle first half minus the 4. Look ahead. Do you like the Sky over the Mystics Friday? I'm trying to cap the games for today and figure out how I get paid. Slim, I ain't looked that far yet, my brother. Zoe Fooley says finally made the live. Appreciate you for tapping in. And Jared says Izzy is due for double-digit points, 2 games under. I parlay her for 10 with something else. Okay. And Maurice, shout out to Maurice, man. Appreciate you for joining the ChrisBeCappinn community and becoming a member. Definitely appreciate that. Hopefully we can continue to get some cash together. All right, so let's get over to the last game. So yeah, my favorite play in this game, especially with the line moving already, would be the Seattle Storm team total to go over in this spot. I do think that they can score against the Dallas Wings 10th rated defense. Let's see. Last game up, we got the Aces and the Mercury. This line actually opened at no, it's not this. It opened at 6 in favor of the Aces. I saw 6.5 yesterday. And now this line is up to, I think it's up to 7. Let me just double check. Yeah, 7, 6.5. Looked like it's coming back down to 6.5. It was at 6. It was at 7 this morning when I made the graphic. And the total is continuing to trickle up, right? Yeah, 166 is what it opened at, and it's up to 169. So injury report in this one has one of the reasons why I didn't play this one yet. But Chelsea Gray is listed as questionable. If you're new to the WNBA, she has not played yet this season. She is the starting point guard, probably the best point guard in the WNBA, in my opinion. If not, she definitely 1, 2, or 3. I'm not here to argue it. But she is listed as questionable with that lower leg injury. She has missed every single game for the Aces so far. And that's big. That is really, really big. For this team, I'm not sure of the impact that it's going to have, which is why I'm kind of just waiting to see what's going to happen. You know, like I don't want to play this game before I know the news. So here we go. Situationally, you can see that the Aces, I think that they're going to be super focused and locked in this game. They're coming off 1 day's rest. This is the first game of first 3-game losing streak in Becky Hammon's tenure as the Las Vegas Aces head coach. Of course, they lost to the Minnesota Lynx just 2 nights ago. Before that, they lost to the Sparks, and I can't remember who they lost to before that. But this team has been mediocre. You see, 5-5 straight up, only 3-7 against the number. On the road, 2-2 straight up, and 2-2 against the number. And a lot of it has been their defense. They gave up 100 points to the Minnesota Lynx. You can see that their defensive rating is 7. Offensive rating, they are still 3rd. They're able to score the basketball. But, you know, we're talking about these were 1, 1, and 2 probably last year. Like, this team was really, really good. And we're seeing them be a shell of themselves this season. Now, granted, they have been playing against some good competition. But, Jesus, man, I did not expect this from the Aces, if I'm being honest. On the opposite side for the Mercury, much more rested team here, 3 days of rest, and they're coming off back-to-back wins since Rebecca Allen and Brittany Griner returned. 6-6 on the season so far, straight up, 7-5 against the number, but 2-0 straight up, 2-0 against the spread, and Brittany Griner's returns. And at home, they've been a completely different team. One of the things I did not write down, well, I probably did write this down, but I'll just pull it up on my computer real quick. So when I talk about the Mercury at home versus on the road, this is like, it's kind of interesting how different they are. On the road, they're 2-5 straight up, 4-3 against the number. They're losing by an average of 8 points. They're only scoring 76 points on the road. But in their home games, they're 4-1 straight up, and they're averaging 86 points. So they average 10 more points per game at home. So you could take the seasonal rankings at the bottom with 7th rated offense, 9th rated defense, and 9th net rating, and do whatever you want to with that, because those numbers are skewed based on where they play at. So is this game a difficult game to cap for me? Absolutely, because I need to know if Chelsea Gray is going to play. If she does play, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure she's going to be on some kind of minutes limit. And as much as I want to take the Mercury, man, they almost gave me a heart attack on Sunday. I mean, they just turned the ball over so many times. It's really difficult for me to want to back a team that turns the ball over so many times, especially when I know the Aces are going to be extremely locked in, to executing their game plan. I think if I had to play anything, and I didn't bet this game, I want to see if Chelsea Gray plays or if she doesn't play. And if she does not play, I don't really want the Aces if Chelsea Gray does play. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense being that they're on a 3-game losing streak. But in my opinion, I want to see Chelsea Gray play before I bet on the Aces. If she doesn't play, I like the Aces early. Excuse me. First quarter should be about 1.5. And this is the same thing that we just saw with the Lynx. If the Aces are coming off a loss, I'm pretty much always looking to back them in the first quarter of their next game. And they are coming off a loss, coming off 3 straight losses. So I think that they're going to be motivated in this spot. Do they end up winning the game by double digits or by 7 points? I'm not 100% sure. But like I said, that win against Dallas the other day for the Mercury saw the Phoenix Mercury have 20 turnovers against the Dallas team that doesn't really force a lot of turnovers. That to me is super alarming. Brittany Griner, Kalia Copper, you're definitely going to need somebody to slow it down. Rebecca Allen. The Mercury also already beat the Aces one time this year as well. Natasha Cloud, Diana Taurasi is so up and down. She shot just 2-11 from the three-point line, only 8 for 21 from the field, and finished with 20 points in her last game as well, in that game against the Dallas Wings, even though it went to overtime as well. So, and then you got Sophia Cunningham and Silk Sutton coming off the bench, Natasha Mack coming off the bench. So the Mercury do have a pretty good team, but what we always say about the Mercury, if you've been tuned in throughout the season, I always say that the Mercury are a team that's going to go as far as their three-point shooting goes. If they're able to knock down some shots, they can win the game. The defense has looked a little bit better without Brittany Griner, with Brittany Griner being back. So, yeah, I'm not sure what to do with this one. I want to see a lot of moving parts, and I want to see what happens with Chelsea Gray, in my opinion. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one. Watcher says, gotta watch teams on losing streaks. They usually come out hot in the first half. Yeah, and I agree with that, Watcher. I definitely agree. I thought about that in every game that we have for today. Let's see. Chad says, if no Austin plays, stay away from Chicago Friday. Aces have issues. Agree with that. Watcher says he likes the +7 all day. Jackie Young is the issue there. So I know she was sick. I'm interested to see if she's feeling better. I know she didn't play well in her last game, but Kelsey Plum, you blame her, Jared. I think Kelsey Plum, I saw her like last 8-9 games shooting the basketball, and it's been atrocious. They said it looked like tour dates. 4 for 27. Well, not 4 for 27, but 4 for 16, 5 for 24. Like, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but she has shot the ball really, really poorly from the floor. So you blame Jackie Young, but maybe it's a little bit of all of it, because it's definitely Kelsey Plum and the way she's been shooting the basketball as well. Those shots are not falling. Outside of Asia Wilson, the Aces don't really got a lot to talk about. Let's see. Watcher says Phoenix going to battle to the end with BG +7. Aces might win, but they don't cover. Chad says, I'd say Kia Stokes not looking at the basket unguarded makes them play 5-on-4. Is huge. I would agree with that, Chad. She literally be out there just looking around when the basket be right there. I agree with that. Then you don't have to guard her, but it's crazy because Asia Wilson still get hers. It's pretty interesting for sure. I do love Rebecca Allen. Agree with Chad here. He says Mercury played 10 times better at home. I agree with that. Tasha says, damn, was leaning team total under 81. Not sure what team total you're talking about there. JR says definitely tough to take Phoenix. Yeah, it's a difficult game in my opinion, man. Like I said, I don't care what the spread is. I'm not looking to fade the Aces 4 games in a row, but I want to see what happens with Chelsea Gray first. Let's see. No Phoenix play of Phoenix play of the day. Chad likes Phoenix. And Tasha says Phoenix team total under 101. I know that Phoenix. Oh, it must be first. Hold on, 101? How 101 where? Oh, he meant 81. Okay. So you think the Aces defense show up today? Okay. Kendrick says 2 mediocre defenses against a whole lot of offense. And if no grade is even less defense, I didn't play it, but I'm debating the over. It's already on the rise, and I would agree with that. If you want to play the Aces, maybe you just take their team total to go over. They're going to play fast. The Mercury been playing really, really fast as well. I think both of these teams are, let me just check the pace numbers real quick. So Mercury are 5th in pace. Aces are number 1 in pace in the WNBA. So both of these teams will get up and down the floor. I think the Mercury pace has slowed down just a tad bit since Brittany Griner came back, though. Let's see. Jerry says always fade a team game 1 with the returning star. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I stayed off. He says get back spot for the Aces. So conflicting stuff there. What up to my guy Prolific? Aces plus over, Bobby says. Jerry says Kelsey can't get can't get over that video dropping from homeboy. I can't think of his name, man. Yeah, tripping in the comments. Jamie says Kelsey is going through it with the divorce there, and Wallace, who I was thinking about, out there making tracks trying to get back at her. I didn't think she would be moved by that. Maybe she has. Maybe that's a part of it, man. And yeah, Justin says he likes that first quarter for the Aces. That's the only thing I would be playing as well. Marcus says only guy in the world capping in WNBA at 8 a.m. I'm trying to cash, Marcus. That's all it is. Not here to feed y'all anything, but if I something I like, I'm gonna give it to you guys for sure. Let's see. Chad says last comment. Chad said argument for Aces is Taurasi is going to get cooked by the Aces guard. Oh boy, I'm talking barbecue chicken out there, Chad. You're right. If her shot's not falling, Diana Taurasi is so useless. I do think she's one of the greatest WNBA players ever. Boy, but if her shot is not falling, she can't guard anybody. She is so useless. And she just shoots. She settles so often because she's such a streaky three-point shooter. So I definitely agree with that from Chad. And that would make me lean Aces as well. So I'll monitor the game throughout the day, the injury status. I do want to see what happens with last point I'll make before we do a quick recap. And it's 3 games, but I don't like a lot. Last thing I'll mention before is that looking at not Chelsea Gray, looking at Jackie Young, we mentioned so it's been like 4 games, whatever she's dealing with has really plagued her for about 4 games, about 2 weeks now. She had 6 points in that game 2 days ago against the Minnesota Lynx. Shot the ball just 3 for 8 from the field, only finished with under 22 minutes and was 0 for 4 from the 3-point line. And she was a minus 14. Her and Kia Stokes were the worst plus minuses on the floor in their starting lineup. So yeah, I definitely need to know what's happening with her in order, to think I'm gonna take the Aces minus the 7. I need to see if what condition she's gonna be in, and Chelsea Gray. Like I said, if I had to play the game, it would be Mercury. But like I said, I just don't want to fade the Aces. I think plus 7 is a pretty big number. But Diana Taurasi could be fooled. The Mercury could turn the ball over a lot. So yeah, this is not my strongest card, man. If there's anything that I do love, I always get on here and share it with you guys. We've been profitable in the WNBA so far, but I don't love this card as much. So let's see. My Louisville girl, Dana Evans, sold. Yeah, she had a big 3 late. Jerry says Dana Evans under points been as good as Vandersloot. She laid a donut for me a couple games ago too. And Robert says greetings, Chris, and on to the chat. Don't forget to hit the like button and share the show. Appreciate that, Robert. All right, let's get up off here, man. Recap. Based on where the lines have moved so far today, the plays that I would take, and I would add, let's see. I know people play these leans. You guys can see that the short list is plays that I have not played yet, but things that I would play. The totals have moved a lot, though. The sides have moved a lot, too. The Atlanta Dream team total over 82.5. I think that's going to be a pretty fast-paced game. I do expect them to bounce back offensively. I know that they're one of the worst offenses in the league, but I'm not trusting the Indiana Fever to stop anybody. I think that they can win that game. I think they can score. I think the Atlanta Dream first half is also in play for today. Just because while they have started slow, the Indiana Fever started even slower. So Atlanta first half minus the 1.5, it looks like is the best number. I'm gonna add that real quick, and then team total over 82.5. I think would be the other ways that I would be looking to play that game as well. So I'll add that real quick. Have not played these yet, just FYI. Atlanta first half minus the 1.5. Atlanta team total, just to stay away from the spread, because if I wanted Atlanta, I want to get them on the money line. But you can get an 82.5 for their team total. So those would be the three ways that I played today's games. Kind of stayed away from that Seattle spread versus Dallas, but I do think they probably scored 90 points tonight. So I like that 84.5 as a team total. And yeah, let me just make sure I put this in red too, because I have not played these yet. This will be the way that I'll be looking to play the games today, though. Atlanta first half, Atlanta team total over, and then Seattle Storm team total over. Attack the poor defenses even at home. Definitely attack Indiana defense and definitely attack Dallas defense. Really two poor defensive teams. So that's the way that I'll be looking, man. Hopefully the show was helpful for you guys. Resources that I use, as always, are here. Check out the moneyballer.com. A lot of great information over there. And it's still free right now as well. So definitely check them out. Statistics, trends, situational spots. It's all, kind of lumped together. It's a great resource. Also want to shout out OzJam, as I always do. Get 25% off your first month using code CBC if you sign up. The link for that is in the description. And then other resources that I use are here as well. And speaking of links in the description, from all my official plays, if you guys want them when I do make them, the link for that is in the description of the video as well. Like the show and share the show if you guys found it helpful and you're still watching. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Bet responsibly. Best of luck. Enjoy your Thursday, and I will catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.